Good afternoon. We have talked in the previous class the relative reactivities and properties of the metals. We were discussing about the properties of metals regarding the reaction of metals with air. We have talked about the reactions of various metals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, aluminum, copper and so on with regard to the reaction with air, means the active component of air, that is oxygen. And we have studied about the reaction in relation to their relative reactivities. We have seen that sodium is the most reactive metals, potassium is even more reactive than sodium, and aluminum is less reactive than that, and so on. We have studied the various metals in relation to their reactivities, relative reactivities. Today, we are going to discuss with the relative reactivities of metals with respect to the reaction with water. Let us see here. Sodium and potassium are much more reactive than any other metals. Sodium reacts with water even in cold condition, means sodium reacts with water when it is put into the cold water. The density of sodium being lighter than water, it floats on the surface of water. As soon as it comes into contact with water, it starts floating above the surface of water and reacts immediately with water and forms the sodium hydroxide along with the liberation of hydrogen gas. Since this reaction is highly exothermic, that is why the heat produced during the reaction catches fire. That is, sodium when reacts with water releases hydrogen gas. The ignition temperature of hydrogen gas is less than any other gaseous combustible materials. So, the heat produced during this reaction is sufficient to ignite the hydrogen gas. That is why sodium catches fire. The hydrogen gas liberating during this reaction starts burning with a golden flame, and it floats with releasing hydrogen gas as well as the golden flame. As long as sodium is present there, it is floating above the surface of water, producing golden flame. And ultimately, what are the chemical products of this reaction? The sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas are produced during this reaction. So, the main thing is that the reaction takes place in very simple reaction condition, that is cold water. Now, let us come to another element, that is magnesium. We have talked in the previous class that magnesium reacts with air when it is burnt in Bunsen burner. When the fresh metal is allowed to ignite with Bunsen burner, it starts reacting and burning with producing white dazzling light. See here, magnesium doesn't react with doesn't react with cold water. when we put magnesium in cold water, no reaction would occur. What happens? It remains unreacted, but it starts reacting in water when it is allowed to boil. So magnesium reacts with boiling water. It means what? It means the reaction condition of magnesium is somewhat at higher temperature. It requires more energy to start reaction. That is why a boiling water is essential here. Means the properties of magnesium or reactivities of magnesium is somewhat less as compared to sodium or potassium. That is why it requires much more higher energy states as compared to cold water. So hot water contains more heat content as compared to sodium, cold water for sodium. Now let us come to and forms the magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas here. So here hydrogen gas is liberated in gaseous state. It can be collected in the gas jar or any other receiver. So let us come to third element, that is aluminum. Aluminum is slightly less reactive metal as compared to magnesium. How can we compare this? Relative reactivity, less reactivity, because when aluminum is allowed to react with boiling water, no reaction takes place. Aluminum remains unreacted, unchanged when it is treated with boiling water. So in which condition aluminum will react with water? When a steam is passed over the fresh aluminum metal, a thin layer of aluminum oxide is formed, liberating hydrogen gas. So if aluminum powder is allowed to react with a steam, aluminum oxide means Al2O3, it is also commonly known as alumina. So Al2O3 is formed and no aluminum hydroxide is formed here. The hydrogen gas is liberated also. So aluminum is much less reactive as compared to magnesium. So what have you seen here? Aluminum is less reactive as compared to magnesium. Let us come to copper. Copper is much less reactive as compared to aluminum here also, because copper does not react even with a steam. Does not react with a steam, and other metals like gold, silver, platinum, these are very less reactive and no effect is observed on such metals, even the most energetic reagent, that is a steam. So on comparing all these things, we come to the conclusion that the relative reactivities of such metals are very changing, variable. The different metals have different reactivities. It is clear from their reaction conditions. So we may write the relative reactivities of these metals in the following way. See here, the reactivity of sodium is greater than the reactivity of magnesium. It is much more as compared to calcium is more reactive than here. Calcium is actually more reactive than magnesium. So sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, and then copper and so on. So on comparing the reaction conditions in which these metals can react, we may write their relative reactivities. See here, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum and copper are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivities. So these are the various metals that react with water, but their reaction conditions are different. Cold water has very less reactivity, less energy as compared to boiling water. Boiling water has less reactivity or less energy condition as compared to steam, and so on increasing the reactivity of these metals, we see more energy is required. Why it has happened so? We have just talked in the earlier classes. The relative reactivity of metals depends on the ease with which they release electrons from their valence shells. The atoms of metals have a certain number of electrons in their valence shells, 1, 2 or 3, and after losing these valence electrons, they enter into the ion formation and cations are formed, and during this release of electrons, much more energy is required as compared to the releasing or removing 1 electron, then 2 electrons, then 3 electrons. So the energy required to remove first electron is less as compared to the second electron is less as compared to third electron. That is why sodium needs less energy as compared to magnesium. Magnesium needs less energy as compared to aluminum. That is why they react in different reaction condition, as we have seen in case of air and water here also. Now further we will discuss about this with regard to the reaction of metals with dilute acids. We know that certain metals are reacting with dilute acids, but few of them do not react with dilute acids. Metals having more reactivities can react with dilute acids easily and form vigorously and release hydrogen gas, just like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, tin. All these metals are responsible for losing electrons in easy reaction condition, and the metals are considered as reducing elements, and the reducing property of metals is defined by the ease with which they lose electrons from the valence shell of their octet, means outermost orbit, to get octet. So octet formation is the prime requirement of all these metallic atoms by losing electrons, and this become possible by losing electrons with the requirement of, with the need of essential amount of energy, and that is called ionization energy. Means the energy needed to remove 1, 2 or 3 electrons from the valence shell is called ionization potential or ionization energy or ionization enthalpy. So by the demand of this much energy, they lose electrons from the valence shell. The similar properties will be observed in reaction of metals with the acids. This will be discussed in the next video. Thank you. Thank you.